The memo was addressed to you. Do you remember the investigation?
I do.
Okay, we're going back here to 05. The investigation focused on two WAMU loan offices called Montebello and Downey. It reviewed the loans issued by WAMU employees and also loans that were brought to the offices by third-party mortgage brokers who were paid a fee when a loan that they brought was financed by the bank. Is it correct that Montebello and Downey offices were headed by two of WAMU's top loan producers, and that a lot of loans came out of each of those offices, as much as $1 billion in mortgages in a year?
Yes, that's correct.
And the memo discusses a year-long internal investigation that WAMU's own employees conducted into suspect fraud affecting loans issued by Montebello and Downey offices, which are referred to as community fulfillment centers, again, or CFCs. Among the findings, here's what the memo says, but in the middle of the page there. An extensive level of loan fraud exists in emerging market CFCs, virtually all of it stemming from employees in those areas circumventing bank policies surrounding loan verification and review. 42% of the loans reviewed, and this again is in the middle of the page, 42% of the loans reviewed contained suspect activity or fraud, virtually all of it attributable to some sort of employee malfeasance or failure to execute company policy. And right behind that memo is Exhibit 22, a PowerPoint presentation, 22A, which is, excuse me, let me start over again. Behind 22A is that PowerPoint presentation, 22B, called Retail Fraud Risk Review. And that provides a lot of detail about this 2005 investigation, as well as 23B, which is an email with data showing that the percentage of loans containing fraudulent information at the Montebello office was 83%, and the percentage at the Downey office was 58%. So now back to 22B. It gives some examples of the fraud found. Here's one on page 10 of that memo, 22B. Fraud loan samples. Here's what that sample says. This is page 10, 22B. Loan number, and it gives the number. Misrepresentation of the borrower's identification and qualifying information were confirmed in every aspect of this file. Misrepresentation, every aspect of this file, including income, possible straw buyer, fictitious borrower, credit. The credit package was found to be completely fabricated. Throughout the process, red flags were overlooked. Process requirements were waived. Mr. Vanasek, those fraud percentages, 83%, 58%, those are truly eye-popping numbers, are they not?
They are.
And the report said that most of the fraud was due to willful behavior of WAMU employees. Did that surprise you when you read it?
No.
The memo came out in November of 05. You left the bank in December of 05. Now, Mr. Melby, you had become auditor a year earlier in December of 04. Were you told about this report?
Not at the time.
All right, so you didn't know about this report at the time?
At the time, no.
Now take a look at Exhibit 22A. Yeah. Let me just ask you, Mr. Vanasek, you said you weren't surprised at those numbers. These are, as I said, these are really unbelievable numbers to an outsider like me. I mean, fraud at that level. Why weren't you surprised?
There had been long rumors of those offices regarding this kind of activity and suspicion about it. Nancy Gonseth, the author of this memo, came forward and talked to a number of people on my staff. We invited Nancy to come to Seattle and sit down and see if it moved from the area of suspicion to the area of fact. And this report that you see is the net result of that discussion. It was forwarded to David Schneider as head of the mortgage lending area for action. I did not have the authority to remove these loan originators.
All right, now let me just finish this line of questioning, and I'll turn this over then to you, Senator Colburn. I'm a little over my 20 minutes, but it's all right. I'll just finish.